So we can start with the closing session. Please, I invite all of you to take the seat. Okay. Okay. So I leave the floor to my colleague Beatrice Final, the guide representative for South America, for the open discussion of the future of quality assurance in learning, and for some remarks about the conference, the 2 days of work we had, and for the future strategies of Guide Association.
Well, here I am again to share with you some words after the seminars, and well, we had discussed a lot of feature characteristics, problems, central points for further contributions, researches, discussions, and the need to work together. Maybe in the framework of Marconi University and Guide Association, basically in my case, because I am the representative of this university in Latin America, so the universities of this region to be open, to work together, and of course with other universities in other regions all over the world. So what I see after this seminar, we have had the opportunity to listen and keeping in mind a lot of papers related basically to social media and teaching based in e-learning. Does it so online, pure online or blended learning, but in a shift to do it in an electronical way. I know that many countries are in these transitions and they have to work very hard to include ICT because it's our time, it's our life nowadays. And papers related to, with different inputs, to improve quality. That is another point, very, very important, and the book that we have written is showing and underline this issue. And another papers were related to innovations. Very important innovations about networks, e-research networks, and this is very, very important to decentralize and to collect many, many information and at the same time to work together. I am aware that it's very easy to say this, but it's very difficult to do it. But it's the way to. It's the way to. We have tools in this moment that are pushing us. The technology are in the main point, and educators and teachers, professors, tutors, and behind technology. So our missions, our responsibility is just to take in account this moment. We are in the 21st century, and our education, in my opinion, and many, many opportunities belong to the last century. So a traditional profile and in some cases very reluctance to work together and to belong to networks, and there are for us a big challenge to do it. I am saying that because in my experience is what happened. worked with Wiki for many years, 5 years, 6 years, at the university in my course of educational technology and distance education. And in my experience, the students very, very close to finish their courses, their studies, they are very enthusiastic in Wiki. But to participate in doing and writing and collaborating and discussing is very, very hard, very hard. I am doing a lot of research with them because they have to be protagonists of these kind of things, but it's very, very difficult. So we have missions and responsibilities very, very important to do. As innovation, I saw another innovation very interesting in 3D and simulations. And nowadays, these kind of things, these kind of issues, maybe will belong to the open educational resources, because this is the real democratization, the real sharing, and the real participation for everybody. Is another path, is another way. And this is many times shows reluctance too. So, in general, today universities are developing their program in a mix. I can see this one, face-to-face and virtual campuses, physical one. And their proposals are being designed in blended learning courses. But in general, what at the point that I reach to live, to work at the university, and the papers that they, in general, for a lot of countries, are more face-to-face than electronical ones. Some open conclusions that I have to put, and I would like to share with you, if you would see another one, it would be important. The traditional university models should change vision and missions in the knowledge society, taking into account an energetic strategic planning, management with great flexibility, leadership, with quality assurance systems within an internationalization of higher education. This is too very easy to say, and is a challenge for us. I am very frank with you. So in my opinion, in my perception, this is not yet a reality. We verify so the creation of different networks, the shared spaces of production, publication, like our book, for example, and the distribution of digital education content in open sources format. This is the shift, this is the tendency, the result of research and the scientific and technological works elaborated by remote laboratories that now again they are opening new challenges, a new and wide opportunity to produce knowledge. In this context, virtual universities should to improve quality as the main issue towards forming people. Citizenry is a new kind of citizenry in the 21st century, to train human resources. At the beginning of this seminar, I said that the unqualified workers will be out of the system. They need to strengthen digital competencies, technological competencies, that in general in my region is a hard work. This to train a citizenry in a lifelong learning too, because the expanded education is a reality. The informal education nowadays is very, very important. And at the university, sometimes another challenge, at the university don't take care of this influence that in formal education, my students are more time in Facebook and in Twitter, maybe studying, So we have to appropriate in some way and consolidate mobile learning. And this is a challenge. But this is the facts that we are living. So, well, another point, to transfer, to contrast. There were another papers very interesting, refer to open sources, of course, where the students collaborate with the expert, with the professor, to produce this kind of knowledge. And the challenger here is to evaluate what kind of knowledge, to contrast them, to respect the diversity. That is another challenge. It's not very, very common, very easy to take into account. So, well, another point is the interdependence to social and cultural needs. Sometimes the university is in an anachronical way or separate from the real life. This is another, of vertical organizations, no flexible, not participate, and so on. But although it is the high advance of ICT and its collaboration, but its incorporation in education step by step in all the levels of education system, establish many points in this area to be solved, to work together. Among them, for example, to transform educational trends, not only support by ICT, but mainly, as I said in my first exposition, in an axiology as part of philosophy centered in assurance quality. This is another philosophy, in my opinion, centered into the students, groups, social organization, really and specific needs to articulate the university. The university has three missions: teaching, research, and extension to the community. And this is basically to articulate in a very strong way. Another point is include the redesign of these organizational structures and e-learning and teaching processes. That means the follow-up, that means the assurance during the process towards its contextualized effectiveness, pertinence, and flexibility. In general, the systems works with the comparison with the objectives and the results. And the process of teaching, of learning, the organizational movement, the leadership, the management, many times the university, inclusive the virtual university, many virtual university didn't have and don't have access, because this point that I am very quickly I am underline. So the effectiveness in many dimensions, cost benefits, and not so only economic but social, more in our crisis world, crisis social and economic world, cultural pertinence, social relevance again, and a great flexibility. Education will be the link to do and to articulate many things. Looking with clearness about the process, I said, for me it's more important the process, the result too, of course, but during the teaching and during the learning, we can see small changes. And this is the important point, to build personality and to build new knowledge. And this only not for short, in the shortness, but in the medium and long futures. Many times the authorities and, well, professors and so on, basically administrators, don't see that education is an investment to long terms. With continuous follow-up, I said, and evaluation of every component of the program's performance, to take care very carefully how education is an intervening variable to the improvement of society, economy, politics, science, and technology. This development belongs to public policies, and all university, public and national or regional and so on, have a part of a digital culture that we are living as a whole. This is my great and my main conclusion of this seminar. So I was very glad to share with Professor Briganti and Professoressa Alessandra Briganti, basically with Laura, the manager of this of this event, and leading the writing of the book, and we were in touch every time with her, looking for a synchronized point and so on. So, well, we are at the finish, and thank you very much, and think about next seminars, but in the way to work together. Last year I prepared with Unisul in Brazil a very important seminar, and it was very successful. So I will continue in this line. So get in touch with me and with this authority, and good luck for everybody. Yeah? No, ella invita para il lunch.
Thank you, Beatriz. Now we have some time for some questions. So if someone would like to know, or comment, so if someone wants, like, okay, perfect. The first one.
My name is Mohammed. Wait a minute.
For you, please, porque ya no sé más que decir.
My name is Mohammed Awad. I am Vice President of Philadelphia University in Jordan. As we all know, democratic countries are countries with a high rate of education, higher education. They are countries where there is freedom, equity, and where the rate of unemployment is lower, and where getting out from this economic downturn is usually more possible in these countries. And we all talk about globalization and internationalization. We do want our students to be mobile, to move from one place to another. We want faculty mobility. We want employability to be at a higher rate. As in this regard, I would like to suggest that not only we should have a Bologna conference in Europe for about 46 or 47 countries. Maybe we should have a similar Bologna conferences in each and every region in the world, under the same umbrella, where they benefit from one another, and eventually we have a better system of higher education, which is in the interest of all. With regard to the MIT Open Courseware, which now I believe has more than maybe 11,000 courses available, maybe other countries and other universities should be highly encouraged to participate, and eventually also from these courses, this multitude of courses, we can arrive at a synthesis of courses which might be useful for the whole world, not just for
you are
one
very
country.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, for example, the president of the chair of the different session would like to add some comments on their session. Professor Murillo. Yeah.
It's just a remark following from our colleague who has just spoken. Thank you very much for mentioning the Open Courseware Consortium. As a representative of the Open Courseware Consortium, I'm an institutional board member of this consortium. I would like to encourage and invite all of your universities and institutions to participate and to join. Thank you.
Thank you, Murillo.
Babatunde?
Professor Babatunde Paye, the representative for Guide Association for the Southern African region.
Thank you very much. One major area that I want to invite the attention of guides to is the area of research. We in Africa, we want to bite into the series of researches that Europe is carrying on in the area of open and distance learning, and we want to be an integral part of this research, both in terms of activities, the distribution of the results, and the consumptions of the findings. I want guides to take this very seriously and get us fully involved in the series of research activities that are funded by the European Union and into which Guide is a part. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Babatunde. We are looking for for an intensive partnership coming from the African region. So we thank Professor Babatunde and all the colleagues from the African region for joining the association. And we will try to do our best to include also more and more your region as part of the European program when the funds are also allocated and dedicated to your country. Thank you. Any other questions?
Or
Comments?
comments?
Craig, you want?
Yes. Hello, my name is Craig Swenson. I was honored to be invited to participate and to chair a session. And I have to tell you that I was extremely impressed with the quality of research that's going on and the number of experiments that people are conducting in expanding our abilities to provide access to higher education to groups across the world. I do believe that one of the challenges that we have, and we had a short discussion in our session, is to make sure that we're taking students who are now coming up, who are being affected by the new technologies and the way that they process and use information. You mentioned Facebook and that's where and Twitter, and that's where students are engaging. I asked the question to our group: what happens when the notion of an educated person in the past was someone who read books? Now people don't read books the way they used to, and when students read in e-bytes on web pages, and when students write in 140 character segments on Twitter, what then becomes an educated person, and how do we construct knowledge and construct instruction that will speak to those individuals and help them develop their intellectual capacities to the greatest degree. We often design learning for the way that we were educated, and we are going to need to have a lot of our research devoted for designing learning that is situated in the context of the students who are emerging. And so I think that's one of the challenges that we all deal with, is how do we move from our education to their education, and that will be something we'll need to learn to deal with, and it certainly was evident, I think, in our group. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Swenson. Now I leave the floor to... there is other questions? There are other. Okay. Alessandra.
Thank you very much. My name is Suleiman Ramon Yusuf. I'm from Nigeria. My concern is about quality assurance in e-learning. In many parts of Africa, there is quite some difficulty convincing people that distance learning programs will come with the same quality as the face-to-face programs. So you have...
Better.
Sorry?
Sometimes better.
Exactly. And it becomes even more difficult when you are looking at online courses, because, again, quality assurance practitioners will tell you that, yes, some will argue that you could use the same performance indicators that you use for face-to-face program. Can you use the same thing for distance learning courses? What constitutes quality in e-learning? So you see that there's a tension in terms of, can there be some overarching or cross-cutting performance indicators for both face-to-face programs and online programs? So I think this is an area of concern. I don't know what the experience is in this part of Europe, but for us, it is important to arrive at some consensus on what constitutes quality in distance learning programs, especially when you talk about online programs in e-learning.
Thank you, Professor Youssef. We think that your considerations are valid also for some European country and for all the countries which is moving from the traditional model to the online model. So we are all called to face this kind of challenge. And what we need to do with Guide and with during the last year, dedicating our research to the definition and the publication of a volume dedicated to the quality assurance, is to find some solution to achieve quality, taking into account the differences coming from different regions of the world. So best practices and case studies are the main center of our reflection, because quality assurance cannot be a standard assurance, but has to be regulated on the basis of local standardization, different cultures, and ministry, different regulation that we have at national and international level.
Sorry, just a short comment. Yeah. In a recent survey in the UK, employers emphasized highly the ability to communicate, to read, write, not just to make PowerPoint presentations, and the ability to think. And I am afraid that when it comes to e-learning, these matters are not properly taken care of in all areas. Yeah. Our new graduates, our new students, do not really know how to write as well as they used to in the past. So this is something I believe we should really make sure it is there. It is important for people to think. We do not want to read 100 books, e-books, without really trying to compare one with another. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. It's a small contribution. Well, you are very, very right. And sometimes e-learning is very, very important to short competencies, digital, basically, technological ones, and have to be complemented with a strong input of the development of cultural thinking. So this is another challenge, because in general, professors, tutors, instructors, teachers are not prepared in this kind of cognitive development. What means a visible thought? What means to develop critical thinking? So they need, in my opinion, special training in these areas, because we have very interesting strategies today linked with art that some colleagues shows here. And is another expressions of creativity, of another approach to develop critical thinking. And we have nowadays the ICT. You can produce YouTube with the contribution of every symbolic codes to develop two brains. So this is another approach to develop the critical thinking, and your contribution was very, very important in this way.
Thank you.
Hello, colleagues. Dr. Demir from Turkey. I have a message to you. I educated, still I am student.
Okay.
But I was believing that education is a very, very good concept in my life up to 2000. Because according to Human Rights Declaration, the human should be educated. He or she has a education rights. But after 2000, I observed that education is big market sector. For example, in my university, in my country, we have 1.5 million students, billions and billions budget expenses for every year. What is the education? Could you call your students consumer? Unfortunately, you have to call good consumer for you, good money paying to you. At the beginning of distance education in 1980s, in 1970s, one of the defense of distance education to decrease the cost for person. And then what happened? Technology developed, and we insert the education, and now it became the individualized education. So expensive. Small example to you. My daughter is pharmacy, and I made a MA degree face-to-face. Now she is making a PhD via distance education every year, 2 years. I am paying $55,000. If, of course, we have to insert the technology, but it's increase the price, education price. Who can educate it? Poor people, rich people. I think rich people. Thank you. This is just my open declaration.
Inequity, the inequity, the social inequity is very big in our world yet. So many authorities see the education like waste money and not an investment for the future, and to share and to elevate the quality of life, not only the educational quality, the quality of life, health, and, well, a lot of things.
Any other comment? No? So, I leave the floor to Professor Briganti. Please.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you, Beatrice. You made a good work in your comment to the whole conference. I have to say on behalf of my wife, my wife that is engaged at this moment in another occasion that cannot be postponed, but she will reach us, I hope, in a few minutes. Well, I wish to congratulate with all participants for the attendance to the fifth conference of Guide Association. In my opinion, the different opinions that we have heard during the various sessions of the conference can contribute to find the right way to advance in this matter, a matter that for all of us, I believe, will be the task of the future, especially if we want to increase the participation to the higher education to more and more people. And this is possible also increasing the quality. And this was the argument of our conference. So I wish to thank all of you, and in particular the component of the board of directors of the Guide Association, that you know is an informal association, but still working very well all around the world. So this is only what I want to say, and I wish to see you in the next occasion. Thank you very much.